At my daughter's engagement party, I heard her fiancé laughing behind a half-closed service door. "She's not pretty," he said, "but her father is loaded." I stopped with my hand on the hallway wall. In the next room, my daughter was smiling under a chandelier, showing her ring to guests who thought they were celebrating love. Then her fiancé laughed again. "After the wedding, I'll control every dollar." That was the moment I made one call before the toast. My name is Malcolm Avery. I am 63 years old, retired from owning 3 small pharmacies in Savannah, Georgia. I am not a loud man. I never needed to be. For most of my life, I believed if you worked hard, treated people fairly, and kept your family protected, that was enough. My wife Joanne died 7 years ago. Our daughter Clara was 24 then. Joanne had always called Clara our soft-hearted girl, and she was. Clara cried during commercials. She remembered waiters' names. She brought soup to sick neighbors and always believed the best in people until they gave her no choice. After Joanne died, Clara and I became closer for a while. Then she met Preston Vale. Preston was handsome in a polished way. Expensive watch, perfect haircut, smile too practiced to be accidental. He worked in private investment, which, as far as I could tell, meant he spoke confidently about other people's money. Clara adored him, and because she adored him, I tried. He came to Sunday dinners. He brought flowers. He asked about my old business, my properties, my retirement accounts. At first, I thought he was just making conversation. Then the questions got sharper. "Mr. Avery, did you sell all 3 pharmacies or keep equity? Is the beach house still in your name? Have you ever thought about putting Clara on more accounts for estate planning?" I answered politely, but carefully. Something about him made me count my silverware after dinner. The engagement party was held at the Magnolia House, an old historic venue near Forsyth Park. White columns, long windows, Spanish moss hanging outside like the city itself had dressed up for the occasion. I paid for the party because Clara asked me with tears in her eyes. "Mom would have loved this," she said. That sentence still had power over me. So I paid. Flowers, food, music, photographer, everything. I wanted my daughter to have one evening where she felt chosen. And she did. For almost an hour I watched her glow. She wore a green dress Joanne would have cried over. She kept touching her ring like she was afraid it might disappear. Preston stood beside her, smiling for photographs, shaking hands, playing the role perfectly. Too perfectly. Halfway through the party, I stepped out to find the event coordinator. I wanted to ask when the toast would begin. That was when I heard Preston's voice from behind the service hallway door. He was with his friend, a man named Miles, who had spent most of the evening drinking bourbon and looking bored. Miles said, "You're really going through with it?" Preston laughed. "Are you kidding? Her father owns half of Savannah." My body went still. Miles said, "She seems nice." "She is nice," Preston said. "That's the point. Nice girls don't ask hard questions." Then came the sentence that split the night in half. "She's not pretty, but her father is loaded. After the wedding, I'll control every dollar." I felt the blood leave my hands. Not because he insulted me, because he insulted Clara, my daughter, the child Joanne held through fevers, the girl who once made me a Father's Day card with crooked letters and glitter all over the kitchen table. The woman standing 10 steps away, smiling because she believed she had found someone who loved her. I could have walked in. I could have put my hands on Preston and made a memory everyone in that building would remember. But I did not. I took out my phone and called my attorney. Her name was Evelyn Cross. She had handled my family trust for 15 years. She answered on the second ring. "Malcolm." "Evelyn," I said quietly, "freeze every pending transfer connected to Clara's wedding trust." There was a pause. "Did something happen?" "Yes." "Do I need to ask?" "Not yet." She understood. "I'll file the hold immediately." Then I made a second call, to the event coordinator. Her name was Lila Benton. I asked one question. "Are there cameras in the service hallway?" She lowered her voice. "Yes, sir." "Save the footage from the last 10 minutes. Do not delete anything." When I returned to the ballroom, Preston was standing beside Clara, one arm around her waist. He smiled at me. That smile almost made me sick. A few minutes later, the coordinator tapped the microphone. Preston was supposed to give the toast. He lifted his glass and began. I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight, to celebrate love, family, and the beautiful future Clara and I are building together. Beautiful future. I looked at Clara. She was watching him with tears in her eyes. Preston continued. I also want to thank Mr. Avery for his generosity. Malcolm, you have welcomed me like a son. I stood. The room quieted. Preston paused. I smiled at him. Before you finish, I said, I need to make a correction. His smile tightened. A correction? Yes. I walked to the front of the room slowly. Every guest turned toward me. Clara looked confused. I took the microphone gently from the coordinator. Earlier tonight, I said, I heard a conversation I was not meant to hear. Preston's face changed, only slightly. But I saw it. I had spent 30 years watching people lie about insurance cards and prescription refills. Panic has a smell. I looked at Clara. I am sorry, sweetheart. Her smile faded. Dad? I turned toward Preston. Would you like to tell her what you said about her behind the service door? He laughed once. A small, ugly sound. Sir, I have no idea what you're talking about. I nodded. I thought you might say that. Lila connected her tablet to the venue speakers. Preston's own voice filled the ballroom. She's not pretty, but her father is loaded. A gasp moved through the room. Clara's hand went to her mouth. Preston reached for her. Clara, wait. Then the second line played. After the wedding, I'll control every dollar. The room went silent. Not quiet, silent. The kind of silence where even guilty people understand there is nowhere left to stand. Clara stared at him. For the first time all evening, she looked at Preston like she was seeing a stranger wearing the face of someone she loved. Is that what you think of me? She whispered. Preston tried to speak. He said it was a joke. He said he was drunk. He said Miles had taken things out of context. Then Miles, still standing near the bar, slowly put down his drink and said, No, man, you meant it. That was when Preston truly turned pale. Now tell me honestly, if you were Clara, would you have thrown the ring at him right there? Or would you have walked away without giving him the drama he wanted? Comment ring if you think she should have thrown it. Comment walk away if silence would have hurt him more. Clara did not throw the ring. She removed it slowly, placed it on the table beside his champagne glass. Then she walked to me. I put my arm around her. She was shaking. Not crying yet. The crying came later. Preston followed us into the hallway. Clara, please, your father is manipulating this. That was the wrong thing to say. She turned around. My father did not make you say I was ugly. He stopped. My father did not make you plan to use me. His mouth opened. Nothing came out. Then I said the quietest sentence of the night. The wedding trust is frozen. Preston looked at me. What? The funds, the venue payments, the honeymoon account, the down payment assistance you asked about last week, all frozen. His face emptied. There it was. Not heartbreak. Fear. That told Clara everything she still needed to know. The next morning, Preston came to my house. Not for Clara. For the money. He stood on my porch in the same suit from the night before, wrinkled now, tie loose, eyes desperate. Mr. Avery, he said, you don't understand how much damage this could do. I looked at him through the screen door. To whom? He swallowed. To everyone. No, I said, to you. That afternoon, Evelyn discovered Preston had already opened a joint planning account using Clara's name and had attempted to list expected family funds as future assets for a private investment deal. He had not married her yet, but he had already started spending her future. Clara ended the engagement that day. For 2 weeks, she barely left my house. She slept in her old room beneath the same quilt Joanne made when she turned 16. Some nights I heard her crying. I did not tell her she was lucky. Heartbreak does not feel lucky while it is happening. I just sat with her. One evening, she came downstairs holding her mother's old photo album. Dad, she said, was Mom ever fooled by someone? I smiled sadly. Your mother was kind, not blind. Clara looked down. I feel stupid. I took her hand. No, you trusted someone. He is the one who made that ugly. Months passed. Clara returned the ring, cancelled the wedding, changed every account Preston had touched, and slowly the light came back into her face. Not the same light as before. Stronger, The kind that comes after a woman learns her softness is not weakness, but it still deserves protection. As for Preston, his investment partners disappeared the moment they realized the Avery money was never coming. The man who thought he could control every dollar ended up unable to control a single conversation about himself. And me? I still think about that service hallway, about how close my daughter came to marrying a man who saw her heart as a weakness and my money as a prize. Sometimes the truth arrives before the toast. Sometimes it comes through a half-closed door. And sometimes the best thing a father can do is not shout, not threaten, not swing. Just make one phone call before the wrong man gets the microphone.